Right, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. I think this is the longest I've left it without uploading a video in a while. Yeah, it's been a week. So I do have a few planty bits to do. I'm going to be repotting some of my houseplants, and then I have a couple of bits that I want to take some propagations of, so I'm going to be doing that. And I have space on one of my desks now, so it should be a bit of a nicer area to work in. So if you guys would like to see that, and would like to see more of that, subscribe, leave a like, all that jazz. But I'm going to turn the camera around and get going. Right, so I've got this nice little area here which hopefully shows up alright on camera. First of all, I'll quickly show just a couple of updates which you guys probably haven't seen in a while. So I've got this is my black fang begonia, and it's grown quite a lot, and it's got some new leaves coming up still. So it's just continuously putting out a new leaf, which is really good. This one it's not wobbly, but I'm worried that it's going to get a bit wobbly because sometimes with my begonias they go wobbly and then they kind of don't root very well. And then this one is the sea urchin begonia, which is really filling out nicely, and you can kind of start to see why it's called the sea urchin. I think these leaves are getting caught under there where they're so compact. But that is just looking lovely. It looks very ground covery, but I hope they do start growing a little taller. And as you can see, as it kind of matures, it's getting a lot more speckly leaves, which is really, really nice. So that's really good. The other begonia did die, the silver one that I bought with this Dibley's order. It did unfortunately die. I did try to save it, but hey ho, life goes on, but not for that begonia. Oh, and then here I have one of my planters, which is doing really nicely. This guy at the back, which the common name I believe is Watches Chains, is doing really well, but you can see like this section of it is growing really nicely, and this section kind of isn't growing very well. You can see the back, like some of the bits are dying off, and they are coming from the same plant, but you can just see like the quality, like the health. I don't know, you can just really, like, this is really healthy and this is really not looking great compared to that. So I'm going to be taking some cuttings off of this guy, because I do really love the look of that, especially in like the back of a planter like this. So that is doing really nicely, and these guys are all doing well. I don't water this very often at all. I think I left it about 3 weeks without watering it, and it's still doing absolutely fine. But all this is like new growth, this half. That was like the original piece, and this is all new, so it's not been disliking the water. I don't think that's what's wrong with that guy, but we don't know. So let's put him over there. Right, so, oh, and a little one for Emily, if you're watching. Here's your little turtle again. And my whale's fin. This is the Sansevieria obesa, and oops, let me try to bring it to the front. This is growing really nicely. Oops, that was just balanced up there. It's a bit leggy. That's what I'm going to take cuttings off of that as well. But this is doing really nicely, and these are growing really, really quick. And if you can see, there's another little growth point down here. You see there. So it's literally, I was under the understanding that I'd probably get maybe 1 leaf a year. But this one's growing 2 at a time, which is really nice. So he's looking really good. He's doing really well. I don't know how tall these are going to get actually, because that is already over half the height of this one. So it should get quite a lot taller still. Let's put you to the back there and try and balance you back up. Wherever you were. Where was you? That'll do. Right, okay, so then the things that I'm going to be repotting today is this little, is this an echeveria? I'm going to finally plant it into this pot. It is quite a small pot. Whoops. It is quite a small pot, but it's going to be plenty big enough because that, it doesn't grow very quick. And I've been watering it from the bottom, so the roots have been coming out of the bottom of the pot. So I may as well just plant it straight in there. Should I bring the camera in a little closer, or should I leave it there? I think I'll leave it there because I feel like it's kind of close enough. You can see what's going on. So I may as well just start with this and then we'll move on to whatever's next. Let's get this going. Wow, there are so many roots in there. This was actually like really, really dry. Like the leaves were really like thin and wilting this morning, and then I watered it and it's come back really nicely. So my soil mix is just a mix of everything. I've used some of the leftover soil from my propagation, that's why there's a little bit of sphagnum moss in here. But I mixed in a lot of grit and a lot of like shingle, so it should be absolutely fine for this echeveria. If I just tried not to get much of that sphagnum moss in there, it should be absolutely fine. Let me move this out of the way. There we go. It's really quiet in my room right now. It feels really strange. I turned my propagator light off, so it just feels really weird. Right, there we go. And I'll use this pot to backfill. I don't want it to be too high up, but it kind of looks like it's... Oh no, it's alright. It's not going to be too high up. If I can just push it that way. This has not grown... I mean, it must have grown some, but it was a lot more purple when I bought it, and I mean, that was the reason I bought it. And now it's kind of just green, which... Well, I mean, I don't mind it. It's not one of my favourites. As you can tell by the way I look after it. Not one of my favourites, but it doesn't require any like persistent maintenance, or like it just kind of exists. That looks alright, doesn't it? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, but I mean it's growing a lot taller. I guess it was probably half the height of that before, and hopefully it will flower at some point. I'm not sure. Right, okay, and now that we've got this little container, I'll take those cuttings because that was what I was going to use. So I'm just using the same gritty soil because I know these are quite dry plants. They don't like a lot of moisture. So I'll probably only take maybe 3 or 4. Yeah, probably 4. I'm just going to grab my little secateurs. Right, so I'm just going to be using these little snips, and I'm probably going to take them at the length of maybe 2 to 3 inches. So just a length like that, and I probably won't need to poke a hole in the soil because it's quite loose, but yeah, I guess I'll poke a hole. I'll put it like 1.5 centimeters deep, just like that. Hopefully you guys can see what's going on. Yeah, I'll just take 4. I'll take 4 of these, 1 in each. I was about to say 1 in each corner, but this is a circular pot, so that doesn't work. There we go. And these I've seen on the plant, they actually do send out some like aerial roots, or like adventitious roots, whatever they're called. So I think this will root quite quickly. And it'd be nice to have another one of these. I do really like them. There we go. And you don't see them, well, I've not seen them often at all in shops over here. So let's take another one there. That one's got a little side shoot on it, so that'll be quite cool if that one grows. There we go, just plonk that in there. I'm not going to bother labelling because I'm kind of just going to leave them and see how they do. Right, so next up I'm going to be transplanting this little tradescantia. I don't know the idea of this one, and I also haven't figured out yet what sort of watering schedule this one likes, because I leave it for such a long time and it seems to enjoy that, but then I think I left it just a little bit too long and the leaves are kind of curling up a little bit. A few of the lower leaves have died, but these take really easily from cuttings, so I'll probably try to take a few cuttings off of this. If I could probably cut it right back, like cut these lengths off, because there are quite a few growing points in the centre, so it'll fill out quite nicely. So I may do that. Yeah, I probably will do that, but I'll transplant it first and then I'll cut it. So I'm going to put it in this hanging pot. This was the one that my Nepenthes hookeriana was in. That one died. I was going to say unfortunately that died, but I kind of fell out of love with it anyway, so that died, got rid of it. I haven't cleaned the pot out, but there was no bugs or anything, so we're all good. So whilst I'm doing this, I was thinking about, because a few people have been asking me questions in the comments, and I was thinking about the idea of doing a Q&A video. I feel a bit weird like saying that, because I feel like that's something that like YouTubers do. But I mean, I haven't really spoken too much about my personal life on here, and I think I'm okay doing that. There's obviously stuff I won't talk about, but if you guys have any questions, it could be absolutely anything, plant related or personally related. Like, obviously, if I don't want to answer it, I won't answer it. So just leave any question you have in the comments, and I'll probably mention this in a couple of videos, just so that I have enough comments, like enough questions to actually fill a video. Otherwise, it'll be really awkward if there's like only 3 questions. So yeah, definitely let me know what you think of that. Because I was thinking about doing that very soon, and then I could just do it whilst like repotting plants, that sort of thing. And I do have a couple of parcels coming. I think they should be coming next week, so there's going to be some fun videos coming up next week. There we go. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think. If you don't like the idea, let me know, and if you do like the idea, let me know, and leave some questions. And you can find my Instagram, it'll be down in the bottom. It's just PlantingMemories YT for YouTube. So if you want to send me some questions over there for the video, if that's your like preferred for you, then definitely go ahead, and I'll be very grateful. Oh, this is very wet. These don't like being too wet, I don't think, so that may not do too well from that. Right, let's dig that hole. This is nice and gritty, so it should drain really quickly. Right, there we go. I'll just pop a little bit more around the edges. I'll try, and this should trail quite nicely as well. Oh, this is so difficult. It should look really good, and it's just going to go in my window again because the window's getting a little bit bare. Although I did one of my new plants is a really nice Hoya that's coming next week. So that's going to be going in my window as well. So I've been wanting to get a new Hoya for quite a while, and then last night it was a very impulse buy. Well, it wasn't even last night, it was this. I woke up at 4:30 or 5:30, and then just went on a random shopping spree online, as you do. Right, there we go. Cool, that's going to look really nice once that's like filled out nicely, because that pink colour is just beautiful. You don't get that on many plants, so that's really nice. And I will take some cuttings. Should I take them now? Yeah, maybe I can put them back in this pot. If I take maybe only 2, but I won't overdo it. Let's get some nice soil in there. This is quite heavy soil because it's got a lot of gravel in it and a lot of grit. So where are my little secateurs? I was thinking about trying to get some rooting hormone, and I keep meaning to do it, like to get some, but then I just haven't. So if you guys have any recommendations for rooting hormone, what you've personally used, definitely let me know. Yeah, let's cut that back there. And I'll cut that little leaf off. Yeah, let me know what rooting hormones you've used, because I probably will try to get some very soon. I don't have problems rooting plants most of the time, but obviously the rooting hormone just guarantees a little bit more success. So I mean, I might as well cut this back to there because those leaves have died. There we go. Should I cut that leaf off? No, I'll leave that. And just plonk that in. They go in quite nicely. There we go. So I've got a couple of propagations, and then that, which will do a lot better now that I've cut it back. It'll bush out a bit more. Oh, there we go. I'm getting really hot. Yeah, so that looks really nice, and that'll go straight up on the window. And it just gets bright indirect light, which I think will do this perfectly fine, so it doesn't burn at all. So I'll just move that to one side. Right, next up, which I have already repotted twice on my channel, is my little Chlorophytum. Well, not so little anymore. My Chlorophytum's getting really big, and the terracotta is just not a good idea because it's drying out far too quickly. So I'm going to be planting this into this big black pot. I don't really use black pots, I don't think. This is like the only black pot that I really have, but it doesn't have a drainage hole, so it's going to do a lot better because that dries out too quickly. And I don't know why, I seem to be quite good at watering when there's no drainage hole. I'm pretty good at allowing it to dry out enough and it not getting overwatered. So I just decided that that is going to be the way forward, and in the plastic pot it's not going to dry out too quickly, so it'll be really, really nice. This is probably going to take the majority of this soil actually. Please don't make a mess. Oh, it's not mixed at the bottom. Oh well. Is that going to be all of it? Yeah, let's go for all of it. You can see where it's like not mixed. I'll just give it a mix in there. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit lower than the surface of the pot, like the top of the pot. Yeah, it's going to be quite low, but it doesn't matter. Hopefully it's not too hard to get out of here, because terracotta is quite porous and these roots are. Oh no, it popped out nicely. Okay, so it's not even root bound. Like it's not that it needs to be potted up necessarily. It was just like the watering is going to be a lot easier in this sort of pot. Let me try to get a nice hole. Please don't be difficult. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, some of the leaves look a little bit crispy and grim, but oh god, let's get that, and I'll reuse it. You go in there. Ah, right, that'll do a lot better in there. I may just cut off those dead bits because they are not looking too good. Just trim these off nicely. And that one. Oh, the more I look, the more I find. Okay, I'll leave it like that. Don't pull it. There we go. I'll leave it like that, otherwise I'm going to end up cutting half the plant off. So yeah, that actually looks alright in that pot. It doesn't look too bad. And there are, interestingly enough, and I'm not 100% sure why, I don't know if they're two different varieties, but we have foliage which has the variegation on the inside, and then we have foliage that has the variegation on the outside. So that's quite nice. I want to make sure it keeps that, or try to. I mean, I'll look it up and see whether it is two different plants or whether it's like to do with maturity, that sort of thing. But yeah, that looks alright in that pot. I don't dislike the black pot, so that's good. I did want to also transplant my ficus elastica, the variegated one. You can really see the burnt on these leaves now, and the new one, like another new one came out since my last video, and that is also getting burnt. So I'm not having a great time with this plant because I just need to move it away from my propagator light. That's literally all I need to do, but I just haven't yet. And it did drop another leaf, which is annoying. Oh, you can't even see the whole plant, but it does. Like, I love that plant, but I just anyway. I don't have a pot that's going to be much bigger than the one it's in. I do have this one, which, yeah, that'll do. I don't know if that's going to clash with like the light foliage. Is that going to clash? Yeah, that doesn't look very nice. I could try and find a different pot, or I could just do. No, let's just do it because it needs it. It needs and it won't dry out so quickly in this one, because I mean these can dry out fine, and they don't like to be too wet all the time. But I let mine dry out a bit too quick, and I think because I'm in the roof, like my bedroom's in the roof of the house, it gets really hot up here, so it just like bakes through, so it like dries a lot. What am I even talking about? Okay, so I'm gonna go. I need to get some more soil for this pot, and then and then I wanted to take some propagations of my Scindapsus pictus, which I will do in a second. Right, so I've got some more soil, and this is now just multi-purpose compost with mixed sand, and that should be fine. I'm not too. This doesn't have a drainage hole again, but I'm not too worried about that. So I guess I'll just pop some soil in the bottom first. I'm not going to worry about putting gravel in the bottom because I don't know. I'm not going to do that. that should be enough. I obviously don't want to plant it any deeper than it is in the pot, but I know this like doesn't actually have much soil in this pot anyway. And we do have a little succulent leaf on there, which kind of, it fell in there, and I'll put it back in there just to see how well it grows. Let me grab those actually. I did take some leaves. What can you see there? This is like my little mixed everything, but you can see some of them are growing. This one's growing really strange. Like, it's growing the most roots, but it's not got any, like, there's no growth point. And then we've got some variegated chryssulas, which have been in there for months and months and months, and they've only grown that big. But anyway, just thought I'd show you those quickly. So let's get some soil in around those edges, because there we go. I mean, I don't like this. I don't like it in this pot very much, but it's more of like a need, like it's required. Oh god, that's not required. Yeah, it definitely just needs a bigger pot, just so that I can keep on top of its watering a little bit better. So then hopefully it will stop dropping its leaves, and then I can put it in a place where it doesn't have to be bottom watered, so the leaves won't get burnt by the propagator light as well. So it should be all up from here, hopefully. Alright, there we go. I've made such a mess. Right, I'll leave it like that. That's not even centered, is it? Is it centered? I'm not sure. No, it's not. Oh, okay, well then that leaves space for this little guy. There we go. Perfect. Oh, that vibrated a little. There we go, so he's in there now, and yeah, do I hate it? No, I don't hate it. I hate the pot, but I don't hate the overall look. Oh, I do need to dust these leaves again, very dusty. Yeah, cool, so that's a lot better. I think that was the last thing I was going to pot up. So now I can quickly tidy this up. Oh, I'll probably use that pot actually for the Scindapsus cuttings. I'm quickly going to sweep this, and then I'll be right back. Right, so here is the Scindapsus pictus. It has got to such a good size, and it's really just growing quickly now. So I am going to be just cutting it back just a little bit, just like some of these longer vines, because the space it's in, it's now outgrowing, so it just makes sense to, you know, take some propagations. Oh, one of those stems looks like it's died. That's interesting. So I'll cut that off whilst I'm doing it, and these are a bit dusty. I sometimes take this, I say sometimes, I did it once. I take this out into the garden and spray it down with a hose, and it gets all the dust off. I would say leave it out in the rain, but my pot doesn't have a hole in it, so I don't want to leave it out in the rain, otherwise the pot's just going to get filled with water. Yeah, so let me just pop the camera back on the tripod, and then I'll get taking the cuttings. Right, okay, so first thing I'm going to do is to put some soil in here. I took cuttings before of this, and I gave them, I rooted them in water, and they took like, what, a month maybe? I'm gonna say like between a month and 2 months to root nicely. Well, not nicely, they had like a root like that long on, like each one had a root about that long on it. And yeah, in water, and then I transplanted them into, there's a loud lorry, no, bus. I transplanted them into soil, and the roots grew so quickly once it was in soil, so I'm going to skip that first process and just go straight to soil. I'll try and find a picture of those, because I sent them to one of my friends here on YouTube, and I'm going to I'll message her and see if she can send me a picture of what they look like now, just as a quick update, because that was quite a while ago that I sent her those, and they were fully rooted when I gave them to her, so they should be doing really well now. So yeah, I'm going to cut these and put them straight in the soil. Right, I'm gonna cut them to the same sort of length that I did before, if I can remember. And the good thing about this and other types of Scindapsus is that they already have the little roots forming on the stems. So it's like they're already wanting to root into the ground or root wherever, you know, like wherever they can. So let's try and think. So I can let's cut that length off. So we've got all this. I'm going to get rid of this here because the root's going to grow out of there, and then I will let's cut there. And that's going to be one cutting, and it's got a node. So from in between the little petiole and the stem, the internode, this is going to grow from that point, which I'm sure you know. And then there is a chance that this can root, but it's less likely to grow from here when there's already a root initial there. So I am going to cut this back to about there, and that there I can bury this. I can bury this petiole to try and get this little root here to have contact with the soil as well. But I think I'll just bury it to about here, just so that it has the support and we're not like increasing the risk of that leaf rotting. So and this leaf here is still quite a young leaf, so ideally you probably wouldn't want to take a young leaf like that, but I did it. So just like that. So we've buried the internode, but not too deep that it's going to rot, so that will grow. And then this one here, I mean, you can either bury it to here, like halfway here, or you can bury it right up to there, but I'm going to bury it to halfway. And these push into the soil nicely. Just firm it down just ever so slightly so that it doesn't fall, and so that those root initials are in decent contact with the soil, so they can start absorbing that moisture from the soil and growing. Right, what is on this leaf? Right, okay, so then we have more here. This one has this one has a leaf that's about to open, so that's really not ideal, but I'm going to do it and we're going to see how it works. So I'm going to cut it here. I'm going to cut it there. Yes. Right, and this one's really cool because these internodes are really, is it focus? These internodes here are really short, so we have 3 root initials in such a small space, which is like ideal. So let's get that in here, and that's probably going to be enough. I mean, I could. Oops. Right, so I'm just going to take that little sheath off there, and then this one as well. So that leaf should grow absolutely fine. I remember last time I have taken them with leaves like this, and they do grow. They just take a little longer to obviously develop. So which way do we want that in? Probably make more sense to have it that way, but the leaves are going to be a bit funny. Let's go in like angled like that. There we go. Can you see that? So I've just buried all 3 of those internodes down there. Perfect, that'll be really good. Let's try to find just one more, I reckon, one more. Some of these are still really long, like this one here. Where's this? These 2 are really long, so, whoops. Yeah, I'm going to need to put this somewhere far away from me whilst it's rooting so that I don't accidentally hit it over every 10 minutes. So I could take this one. Oh, yeah. Could take that one, or I could take one of these ones, but these are... Oh, let's cut that dead bit off quickly before I forget. There we go. That's really strange. I've never had that happen before, so... where should I cut? I want to cut that one because I'm going to cut it. I'm going to stop talking about it. I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to cut this quite short, and then it's got the root and the bit it's going to grow from. And we're just going to place that under the soil, just shallow, quite shallow, just enough so it can support itself. And then that's definitely too much for that pot already, but do I want to take one more? Well, let's have a look at the whole plant. No, let's leave it there. One more? No, we'll leave it there. I'll give that a nice water. To water in my room, I just use like this water bottle, and then I've pierced a hole in the top, and then I just do this unless I get impatient, and then I take the cap off and pour it in. But I'll water this a little bit, let it absorb, and then I'll check on it again in maybe 20 minutes ish, and then see if it needs any more. I don't want this sitting in water. I just want the soil to be moist enough that the roots are going to be able to absorb that water from the soil, but not sitting in water. I did look up as well because I wondered how this worked. When roots are in overwatered soil, they rot, but when they are in pure water, no soil, they don't rot. And I always found that so confusing. I was like, how does that work? But apparently, I mean, I only briefly looked into it, so please correct me if I'm wrong. But it's because when you have just water, it takes oxygen from the air, which allows it to give the roots oxygen. And when it's in an anaerobic soil, it's not able to get that oxygen, something like that, along the lines, which I found really interesting. So if you find that interesting, look it up a bit more. Right, okay, so that's done. That's going to look really nice when they grow. And now, I mean, this still looks just as big. So I think that's a job well done. Right, I'm going to turn the camera around and sort this out. Right, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. That was nice to just sit there and relax and get stuff done, because it's been a while since I have properly done that. So thank you all for watching, and please like if you enjoyed. Remember, do leave a question down below for my Q&A video, and like if it makes a difference, if you want me to like mention your name as I say them, definitely go ahead and let me know if you want me to do that. This is where I get like no questions and it's going to be really awkward. But again, check out my Instagram and let me know on there, like private message me on there if you have questions, or do it here. It's absolutely, I don't mind either way. But yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and all of my loyal subscribers that comment all the time, thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate it, and all that positivity is exactly what I need right now. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.